Opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and welcome, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Scarefest TV. The original broadcast date, March 10th, 2023. And basically, everybody, tonight you get to listen to me drone on about how horrible my experience, my near-death experience was, how scary and all that stuff, and make inappropriate humor and in other words, kind of like what we always do. I am joined tonight, thankfully, by Adrian and Brandon. We didn't get to do our council episode a week ago because Hurricane, whatever the hell they decided to name the damn storm, came through Kentucky. And Friday night at showtime, I was actually out on the ridge trying to keep my barn from blowing over the hill. But,
and birthing a calf.
Yes, also I was birthing. I had a calf I was watching. So, yeah, it was an exciting night. Too exciting, apparently, for the old ticker, as they say. So, did I miss much while I was gone?
I did a very romantic candlelit live last Friday. I didn't have power for like 2 days after that. But, we did some guest announcements while you played up, which you know all about. No, nothing exciting here, Brandon.
No, I learned that you can take a life insurance policy out on anybody, and so Wes, if you get some mail, just ignore it.
So sorry to let you down, Brandon. Okay, everybody. Now here's what happened. Yes, I did have what they've decided to term a cardiac episode or cardiac event. Now, the reason they're using that terminology is depending on which of the dozen or so doctors that I spoke to last weekend, I may have had a heart attack, very, very mild one, or I might have just got out ahead of a really, really bad one. In other words, okay, here, for example, when you have when you have high blood pressure and you go in the hospital for a cardiac episode, they put you on a drip to get your blood pressure down. And it's to treat, if you Google it, it's nitroglycerin. It's to treat angina, which is chest pain. I had no chest pain. All I had was shortness of breath and a short period before I took aspirin where there was somebody, I could feel a pressure, but it did not hurt.
But your blood pressure was sky high,
yeah,
and they couldn't get it down.
What, because I know what your blood pressure was. What was your heart rate?
Heart rate stayed, I don't think it ever got above 80, 85.
80, 90.
Yeah, that was a top. But
except at 10 o'clock on the first night.
All right, she's going to tell the story now.
His heart rate dropped to 40, and his blood pressure bottomed out and scared the shit out of everybody. They were pulling nitro drips.
They couldn't get my blood pressure on the target number they wanted to do all the shit they wanted to do, and so they kept turning the drip up little by little. And then all of a sudden, 10 o'clock, I said, shit, I feel like hell. And that's another thing. Someone explain nitroglycerin in all the old Western movies. That's what they make dynamite out of.
Yeah, that's why they don't let you smoke in hospitals anymore. People got blown up.
I had enough. It actually occurred to me that if I come home and fart next to the wrong person, I'm a dead man.
Stuff. 2 bottles.
I don't think that's the way that nitro works. I don't think you can blow up a railroad track with it or hijack a stagecoach.
Well,
All I said, I Googled it and I found an entry that says in small amounts, it's for your health, but in large amounts, it's
right.
So
Well,
there.
the chest pressure thing, because like, anybody that knows me knows that I'm terribly out of shape, but my resting heart rate most of the time is around 100. And when I go to the gym, and I get on the elliptical and I do cardio, they have the little heart rate sensor, and I get that like pressure in my chest when my heart starts beating around 190 beats a minute when I'm on the elliptical, which is when I need to like slow down. So that's why I was curious if your heart rate was really high, or if it was just your blood pressure being ridiculous. That's crazy.
I'll put it this way: my numbers were so weird compared to what they'd seen. Now, one thing, and I've had low thyroid, and I used to be treated for this until COVID happened. But one doctor actually came in. He said, I think it was I don't think you actually had a heart attack. I think the combination of having the worst low thyroid he had ever seen tied to having blood pressure as high as he's ever seen. I'll put it this way: when they put the EKG on you and they start going,
Somebody in the comments, it doesn't have a name. Oh no, it was Wes. Said, Matt said, let's get Wes an arc reactor. You want to talk about that next?
Oh yeah. Well, no, that's at the end of the show. Actually, Matt, I'll get around to that. I got one. Okay. Everybody, if you watch the Christmas episode, I said, I'm going to live healthier this year. This winter has been hard on me. That super cold weather, and it has been a hard winter. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to be the healthy guy, but I'm going to eat a little better. And then I'd already planned. I cut back smoking in January. Cut way back. And my plan was to actually quit on my birthday, which is the end of February. Things didn't work out. I decided it was late January, and I had I was worried it was a cardiac event, but at the same time, you never read where anybody cures those with Pepto-Bismol. But I will tell you, I had pressure, and I was having trouble. I had shortness of breath, but also had to fart a lot. And I said, they don't tell you about that in Google. So anyway, I took Pepto-Bismol, went to bed, everything was fine. But I said, okay, I was short of breath, so I said, I need to start taking this seriously. So I got the patch. Was down to 1-2 cigarettes a day, and then
February 13th.
Yeah, February 13th.
Last cigarette
I've had. Now, everybody, I made a doctor's appointment after that. I said, okay, I need to get this under control. And I'm not going to use his name on the air. I'll just call him Dr. Doolittle.
Dr. Asshat. Anita was going to yank a
Anyway,
his ass.
Calm down, producer. I went in, told them the situation. What happened, everybody? I had all this under control. I was medicated as of December 2019. And my doctor's appointment was in like April of 2020. Anybody in the chat room, do you remember what happened in March of 2020? Anybody?
Can't recall.
Wait for somebody to say it. Basically, the governor told me to sit my ass home. So I did. I canceled my doctor's appointment. Figured I'll get this all caught up after the pandemic has passed. And I never did. I'm one of those guys.
Years later.
I just never did. I felt good. I was having, and tell you the truth, now here's something they don't tell you. If you have high blood pressure and you get it down low, cold goes right through you. And I'm a farmer, so I'm out on the farm. My fingers get cold. But you know what? With high blood pressure, it doesn't happen as bad. So it kind of felt good. And it has its advantages. But I went to the doctor. He took my blood pressure and he put me on EKG. And even with the little portable EKGs, little about that big, the paper wasn't even wide enough. it would come up.
Right.
It would get little errors. And he said, now, when you see that error, don't panic. That just meant that you were off the chart, but it's a little machine. But basically, he said, okay, this is more than I can handle. He did blood tests, though. He said, we'll do your blood test, and we'll get you set up that way. But he said, I'm going to send you on to a cardiologist. So don't we have those up here? No, he said, I want to send you to one in Georgetown. So I waited about a week, didn't hear from anybody. We started calling. They said, well, these things can take time to get scheduled, and he does his blood test reading this way. I waited till the first of next week. Hadn't heard from anybody. And basically, I did finally get a phone call. Meantime, I was self-medicating with every freaking herb I could find on Google that would take care of it. But then I did hear finally from a hospital in Lexington that works through Georgetown. No names, no liability. They said, okay, we can get you in April 18th?
Yeah.
I said, I'm sorry, did you say March? April 18th. 2 months from my original appointment to see a cardiologist. And I said, well, okay, that must mean they looked at it. They looked at my EKG. They looked at my numbers and said, he's fine. He'll be fine. By the way, never did hear back on my blood test. I got a copy of it, but never did hear from him.
Never assume proficiency in the medical department. I can tell you that right now.
And so anyway, okay, let's jump forward now. Hurricane, we'll call it Wanda. Hurricane Wanda hit Kentucky, and I was up next day clearing trees and that kind of shit. Well, Sunday morning, now I had a little trouble. I had trouble sleeping Saturday night, but that has been more about in the process of all this. I had kind of they don't tell you when you quit smoking and your lungs come back to life, that your lungs go, you know, all this shit we've been packing around in here, let's just get that crap out of here. So I've been having wheezy. And you don't cough it. It's like it's just, you constantly want to clear your throat. So I didn't want to keep her up. I felt fine otherwise, but I didn't want to keep her up clearing my throat every 2 minutes. So I came in, sat in the living room. Didn't get to bed early, but I did get to bed. Well, I woke up Sunday morning, and that's when I was short of breath. And I mean, as in I went in to make coffee, and just walking around the kitchen was too much for me. It just wore me out. So she got up, said, Nita, I need to go to the hospital. Okay, but I got to check the cows first.
Priority.
I didn't check the cows.
You checked with the barn. You did barn work.
I did the front barn.
Yeah. So
I was like, the more you keep talking, I'm getting ready to walk across the street to Central Baptist.
Make sure they can get you in. Anyway, so everybody, I went to the Nowels. I went to Harrison Memorial Hospital. I walked across the parking lot. That was just but I didn't call the ambulance or nothing. I walked in. They got me. I told them what was going on. They threw me on a fucking gurney. And I was surrounded by doctors and nurses. They handled it and got me in.
Good.
But that's compliments to the hospital. And they got a couple of hot ER nurses. If you're shopping around, if you're looking for an ER to go to, I got to recommend. No, they were wearing masks, so I have to assume that, from the eyes up, based on that. But, so they basically, at first, they made it sound like, okay, we're just going to medicate you, get your blood pressure down, run some tests, and, we'll see what happens today. Well, then, so I'm thinking I might get to go home. No. But they hooked me up to the drip, which actually they gave me some medicine in before that actually worked better getting it down. But they got my blood pressure fairly quickly down in the 160 top number to 170 top number range. And 160 is where they wanted it for the weekend.
Jesus Christ, what was it at?
Yeah.
220.
220.
Upwards of 220 over 180.
Holy shit, Nicole, if you're listening to this, go across the street right now.
Yeah, that's I'll put it this way. Okay, here's what my doctor, the original doctor, should have done because I actually Googled it. I have a blood pressure machine. I haven't used it for 3 years, but so when I was seeing how I was doing, so before all this happened, I put my cuff on, and my blood pressure was in that neighborhood, and I Googled that blood pressure, and guess what Google says on the blood pressure I had, which was like I said, it said go to the ER.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, immediately. It's not like, oh, you'll be okay if you're this body type.
No.
So that's kind of where it was. Okay, well, let's throw a commercial break in here because it's still a business. Hedge Witch Hall, one of these Scarefest sponsoring vendors. We want to give them a shout out. Tea with Intent. Every tea blend has a purpose. Now, I'm not going to go through their tea catalog here, but they got limited time, 20% off. So go to the website, hedgewitchhall.com, hedgewitchhall.com. Zodiac flavors for 2023. I don't even know how that works. But yeah, they're also at the Mystical Market some months. I don't know how. I don't know that they're this month. Most every month. Yeah, I know they were there last time because they were giving away samples of their tea.
Yep.
So anyway, savor the magic. Go to hedgewitchhall.com. Check them out. Now, like I said, horrible numbers. But as it went on testing, one doctor, they want to do the heart cath. That's where they stick the little thing up in your veins and poke around with a little camera and see what's going on. And they were expecting to not really find anything. A couple of the doctors were, because they were really more worried about my thyroid numbers. And so now, okay, now I do want to lay some things out here. I had first of all, now this is one reason: take care of yourself. And I don't just mean physically, I mean hygienically. I had not shaved for like 3 weeks. I had a neck beard. 3-week growth of neck beard. My chin, in other words, from here to my pubic area was one big blanket of hair. So that was, I'm sure all the nurses found that terribly, terribly attractive.
Crypticon, November, Lexington.
Right, exactly.
Just saying.
But so now they did. Now that's one thing. Nurses. Now this is another one. Everybody listen to me. When you're dealing with any type of health thing, and you think the doctor is going a little slow or not doing what they should, tell them. That's one thing the nurses and doctors in the Harrison County ER said. You have to be your own advocate. Yep. You have to push to get stuff done. And so that's kind of a moral of the story on the first part of the segment of it. And Brandon. I was hoping this would not turn out serious as it was. For my birthday, everybody, Nicole Griffith tends to have Amazon drop ship me a couple things. And I don't know what the second one is yet because she always orders something that takes a while to get her. But the first thing she sent me, I told her I was stopping smoking and I was ready to go down to step 3, which is the final step of. Well, she had Amazon send me a box of nicotine patches. Step 3. Now, the patches when they showed up in larger print on the box than nicotine or the brand name or anything, made in China. And I don't expect stuff not to be made in China, but it was like, this was almost a warning label. It was across the front of it, big letters. And I said, okay, I'm going to get home and I'm going to text Nicole and I'm going to say, Well, the doctor said everything's fine. Apparently, I had a bad reaction to some cheap-ass nicotine patches from China.
Because he wore one of them Saturday.
Yeah, I'd worn one. Yeah, I had one on the day before.
That's why she's tried to get me to wear a couple of them since then.
But, yeah, the Chinese nicotine patches, I want to get that in there. I decided not to do that. And somebody in the chat room actually said there is a difference in those nitroglycerins. Well, why don't they give them different names in? But, the nitro, oh, that was the other thing. Of course, the nitro drip, I said, they consider that for angina. And all the doctors would come in and they'd say, and they'd list off these list of symptoms. And they said, and nausea, chest pain, all the, no, none of it.
Huh.
But
wait, you have an angina?
Yeah. No, I did not have an angina. Apparently, I had nothing.
He is a man purse now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll get around to that. I'm going to tell you that the consequence that falls into the consequence category. So basically, everybody, they finally got my blood pressure down. They spent the day Sunday, checked me in, and
scheduled you for the
test on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but it was Monday night that was the scariest because that was they overdid the drip a little bit, and I got a little puny on them. But okay. Now, I did not sleep worth a crap. They had IVs in both arms. One actually using it. The other was a spare, apparently. They stuck one in, gave me one shot, and I had this IV hanging out of the arm. And, of course, I had all the little EKG things all over my chest. I wore my jeans in the hospital bed all day Sunday.
Did they shave your chest to put those little sticky pads on?
No, but I actually wish they had.
Because when you had to take them off, now do you have little squares of?
Yep.
I had little curly because the glue on them took the chest hairs and it's like the glue just like twirls it on their fingers.
Oh, it styled your chest hair like
yes.
Okay.
And it makes it did not look hygienic. But and yeah, so they were so nice. They have stuff to remove them, but they didn't bother. They said, you'll be all right. Rubbing alcohol, you can handle it. Oh, now here's something fun fact. If you go in for something like this, of course they put a permanent blood cuff on your blood pressure cuff on your arm. They took my blood in the ED. They were taking
ER.
It's the emergency department. I learned that on a New Amsterdam. Damn it!
You were post cardiac incident. You can't be talking about ED because people get the wrong idea.
Actually, I don't worry about that because most of the scuttle on the street is things work better after this.
Well, you're taking TNT.
Hey, wasn't that was an AC/DC song, wasn't it? TNT, dynamite. Okay. In the ED they were taking my blood pressure like every 5 minutes.
Yeah, when he first got in and they couldn't get his blood pressure down, the doctor made them take his blood pressure every 5 minutes. So his arm is bruised from the. They finally had to start taking it.
Because when you have the way blood pressure works, it pumps up until it cuts off your blood supply to that area, and when you have high blood pressure, it takes more pressure. So I mean, it was really. Then, and even when they put me in the room, they were taking it every 30 minutes. They had it programmed in the computer every 30 minutes.
So they couldn't get it out of your arm. So where did they end up putting the blood pressure cuff?
First 2 days it was
but they moved it down here.
Yeah, they finally moved it down here.
Oh, just further down the arm.
Yeah, because up here I was starting to squeal. Every time it would take my blood pressure, I did inside. Didn't really bruise it up too bad. One spot there, but I mean it was hurting that bad. But they did finally give me some relief by moving it and hurting it down here.
just about every time they take my blood pressure and they put the cuff on over here, like normally when I go to donate blood and stuff, it will leave those little like petechia just after like doing it one time. And my blood pressure is normally like 110/70, but they squeeze it up so high that it'll leave like little line bruises where the little cuff from once. So I can't imagine doing it over and over.
So long story now.
I don't use a blood pressure cuff from the call. I just look for that vein to pop out in her head.
Now rough night Sunday night, and not from the blood pressure, just from first of all, hospitals are noisy ass places, and I had binge watched a couple weeks ago New Amsterdam. And you know, now see, the show though, the thing about the show is every time they would have a machine hooked to somebody and everything was going normal, you know. Beep, beep, beep.
You're talking about this.
And then all of a sudden this machine would start squealing and everybody panic and everything. So and this was going on all up and down my hallway. And so anytime, it's like if my blood pressure went up, my machine squealed. And so you got that going on, and try to sleep with a blood pressure cuff going off every 30 minutes, especially when it hurts. Then on top of that, my they call it stress apnea when you have the kind I have. It's because there's nothing physical that causes it, but so finally, they said, well, let us put a CPAP machine on you. Now, this is the one critique of Harrison Memorial Hospital. They have these industrial strength CPAP machines. You know those vacuum cleaners that plug into your wall?
I just imagine, like, if you blow enough air hard enough through the front end, that it's got to come out the back end at some point.
Hey, I tell you what, in the movies when they want somebody to look like they're really going fast, you know, their face all blows back and everything. That's why, because when they put this mask on you, and I mean, do people actually use these things in their home? Because it does. It has the volume level of a old vacuum. And it blows. Now, the way a CPAP machine, if you're not familiar with it, it basically expands your lungs. It blows enough air in your mouth that if you try to stop breathing, it will fill your lungs up. But if you actually put pressure back, then it shuts off and lets you exhale. And I cannot imagine sleeping like that.
That and the alarm on his would go off every 5 or 10 minutes because something was wrong.
Well, it's because I have a beard and a neck beard, and it wasn't sealing around my mouth.
I mean, nobody likes wearing a CPAP, but I mean, they like people. There's people that live by them. There's people that like can't stand them. If they had a suck feature on them, everybody would have one.
Jeez.
Okay. So basically, I'm going to tell y'all, Sunday night, I probably altogether got 2 hours of sleep. And that was not in any way quality sleep. So Monday, they got my blood pressure where I wanted it, or where they wanted it. They got me in to do the heart cath. Now, they laid me out on the table for the heart cath. And I got the kind, I was lucky they didn't, although I got the shave for the kind that go up your groin. They were able to do mine through the arm.
So they gave you a Manscaped but wouldn't shave your neck or your chest?
I actually asked her to do my back. Because
after they got through that, they were done.
Yeah. Right. Like we dulled every scissors and razor blade we had in this hospital.
No, she had the very neat little set of clippers. I need to find out about them. They're just like regular beard or hair clippers, but they have a little box on them that they, especially on the wrist when they did it, it hardly lost any hair. Now
they
legs,
ran it like the dog groomers did, they?
Well, pretty much, but so yeah. So anyway, I got terribly from me. Oh, and by the way, first time ever, everybody, Sunday night, because after the blood pressure or low blood pressure, low heart rate incident, I had to poop.
I cannot believe you're sharing this.
I have pooped in front of a studio audience for the first time in my life.
Nice.
Because they did not want to take me off the machines to let me walk to the bathroom.
Aw.
Yeah. They basically were.
Check it off the bucket list.
Yeah, that is something I wanted to share.
He didn't pass out. That was.
Yeah, I didn't. I came really close.
Here would have been my argument, right? You're laying in this bed, you're having these blood pressure issues, and you have to poop. And they're like, well, we're going to be here and go through this joyous experience with you. Then I would say, I thought you were trying to get my blood pressure down, not up, because having to poop in front of people would definitely raise my blood pressure.
They brought in the little old lady pooping chair. And so, yes, I had to say, and the best part is I'm next to a nurse's station and the windows open. Now it had blinds, but they were open. And so it wasn't just the live studio audience. You actually, if you were walking down the hallway, you had a viewing screen.
Nice.
Yeah. So there was that.
Chad said you need to put that on your OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly. When they were like, "Oh, we'll bring you in a chair," be like, "Oh, it's fine. I've been to prison before."
So, okay, now we're at the bottom of the hour, everybody. I will continue with this after we do our announcements and our commercial. Let's do our commercial now.
Horror. Movies. Fans. For life. On Facebook, find us. For watch parties. For news. For memes. For friends. For life. Horror movie fans for life. Join us.
First celebrity announcement of the evening, Amy Steele from Friday the 13th, Part 2, April Fool's Day. Jason Rising, just all kinds of good stuff. But no, Amy Steele, popular. We welcome her back. April Fool's Day, Friday 13th, Part 2, Amy Steele. Now this next one.
I'm excited about this one.
My producer's excited.
I'm very excited.
And it's so...
Yes!
Yes!
Although that you did not put New Amsterdam on his banner, Brandon, disappoints me.
I haven't seen New Amsterdam yet.
Holy crap, that's him?
That's him.
Ziggy!
That's
Oh my God, my
Ziggy.
hand's sweating.
Now, although I do
His
want
Bible.
to... I do want to point out here, though, everybody. Okay, Tyler Labine is coming. Tyler Labine, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's the big horror thing.
New Amsterdam.
But he played Ziggy on New Amsterdam. Now, here's the great tie between tonight and my guest announcement. New Amsterdam had an episode where, I gotta save that though. I gotta tell that part later. I'm almost to that part. But keep that in mind, everybody. Tyler Labine is coming, and he was on New Amsterdam. So, keep that in mind. Now, so finally, they laid me down on the table. I'm going back. Nothing else was good. Film festival's open, everybody. So, let's go to there. They lay me, I'm on the table to get my heart cath. They give me, basically, it's okay, no big deal. They said, we're going to give you a sedative. We're going to keep you awake during the thing. You won't be sedated. That way they won't put the whole tube down your throat, and keep you breathing and all that stuff. We're going to put oxygen on your nose so that you have extra air and a mask over top of it. And then we're going to give you a little something to calm you down, a little something for your nerves, and then we'll do it. I fell asleep the moment they said, we're going to give you a sedative. And slept through the entire procedure, woke up right at the end. Best sleep I've had the whole time I was there. I wanted to stay and get another heart cath just so I could sleep.
2 stents is enough.
Yeah, but basically they went up in there and they did find where I had arteries blocked. So they put a couple stents in, opened everything up. No noticeable. They said my heart muscle looked great.
Good.
Everything looked good there. Their best guess is because I had the 2 arteries blocked, and I am a smoker, or was a smoker, that my heart was just basically wore out. It got that tired. Fighting the high blood pressure, doing all this stuff. The muscle itself just got tired. But they said it didn't see any permanent damage and nothing like that. So that was good news. 2 stents, no big deal. Felt as soon as I woke up good, already feeling better. Already feeling much, much better. They rolled me back to the room. Now, then they start to, okay, well, this is what we're going to do for aftercare. First of all, they're still panicking over the thyroid. The nurse practitioner, I guess, is who came in and said, I've never actually seen thyroid numbers that high. Because, no, high thyroid numbers, whatever number they measure it by, mean you have low thyroid.
Oh.
It's confusing as shit. But basically, the higher your thyroid number, the lower your thyroid.
Performing.
Yeah. and I guess the inverse is true. But she said, I've never even seen those numbers. They're just not even in textbooks. And she could not believe, like, I still had hair. I mean, I have a bald spot, but, you know. And then, so they started easing me out. Well, before that, they'd taken me off the drip, and they started giving me pills. Okay. Here's the moral. And now after this, they decided that we want you to wear what they call a life vest. Okay, everybody? And it's basically a portable defibrillator. Now, one of my numbers
that was my look too, Brandon.
Was right on the edge. Now, first of all, gentlemen, now this is why I'm not going to be an anti-smoking advocate, but I'm going to tell you, if you have high blood pressure, get it taken care of. Because it's not a vest. It's an electrified bra. Okay? It's an electrified bra that comes with a 5-pound man purse that they want you to wear 24 fucking hours a day.
Can you charge your phone with it?
No.
Who knows?
Batteries. These batteries.
Look and see if it's got a USB port.
I'll put it this way. I know that it's strong enough. It's not strong enough to kill you if they shock you, but it will knock you the hell out.
If it goes off, I have to get him to the emergency room as quick as I can. Leave him in the parking lot while I go get help.
But they said if it goes off, like if she leaves or something and it goes off, they said you'll find him laying in. And now they didn't go ahead and say part of this, but they said you'll find him in a pile of blue gel because it squirts its own little gel out so it doesn't burn you.
Oh,
And
what in the hell have you got?
It's
Google
like
it. It's a bra, but it's a defibrillator.
So you're telling me that you wear a thing around your chesticle area?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if his heart
shocks
stops,
you and then shoots ooze on you?
yeah.
Yeah, you know, haven't you ever watched the TV shows when they take the paddles and they put the gel on it? They put the gel on it, and that's to keep the paddles from burning you.
Yeah.
It's built in. Now, I don't have gel on me now.
At least it's blue.
Yeah, I don't know why they chose that color. But
You didn't get to pick your gel color?
no. But
So you're like, did?
now here's another little thing I know from watching people, because they said it would knock you out. If you get knocked out or you pass out, guess what else you do? You pee yourself. So my wife could come in and find me laying in a puddle of my own piss, blue gel, And they said just automatically give him hospital, dial 911. Just don't even.
What does blue and yellow make?
Green.
Yeah.
So that,
Nice.
You're
and that
gonna
would-
be.
and that would not show up on the screen,
Oh,
everybody.
you're gonna look like one of those guys that opens the dye packs when they rob a bank.
But
What-
they've told me they do not want me to take this off except shower.
And to take a shower, he has to take the battery out of it so it doesn't think that his heart has
Yeah.
stopped. Yeah.
Yeah.
The manual to this thing is like 2 inches thick.
Another fun fact.
And
Now
they send us home
she's
with
going through the restrictions on it. She says, you can't take it off, and you can't use anything that vibrates. Now, as
Well, I'm out.
driving a tractor,
Yep.
riding an RTV. But the kind of I have a big tractor, so apparently
And
they
it's a
said just
cab
watch
tractor,
it. Then we're
Going street in Frankfurt, that'd shock
Yeah.
the shit out.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they do say that it'll emit a tone first, and so they don't want me doing anything that I couldn't hear the tone because there is a way to cancel it. In other words, if it beeps and I said I'm okay, yeah.
Like one of those. It's like an assisted suicide button. It's like, no, let it stop. I'm done. You
Yeah,
just sit there
that's
and you're like, what's that annoying beeping noise? Nope.
Hopefully, we don't have to wear this
Yeah.
that long.
no, yeah.
Hopefully.
One doctor said 30 days. The other doctor, actually one doctor was a woman that set it
Augustine,
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
She said 3 months and was about shit.
Yeah,
It wasn't a doctor. It was a woman.
just a woman that came through. Now here's another side effect they don't tell you about. Okay, the blood thinners that they get, because where I got the stents, they don't just have me on blood thinners, they have me on platelet things, If I bump my head, I have to go to the ER.
Because you'll bleed to death.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it's not internally, externally, whatever. But yeah, and guess what I do constantly?
Bump your head on
Yeah.
stuff. So
Going
when you,
underneath the tractor, forgetting raised up in the wrong spot. Yeah.
Yeah, so any minor or major head wound.
I'm probably going to be on a first name basis with everybody in the ER this summer.
yeah, you definitely need a helmet.
My mom suggested that.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway, they now have me on enough pills. Now, this is one thing I regret. I don't regret not stopping smoking years ago, as much as I regret not going ahead and getting in with my doctor and getting the prescription for my 3 pills that I used to have to take. I had a thyroid pill, a
memory pill.
a blood pressure pill, and a water pill,
Yeah, diuretic.
diuretic.
Oh yeah.
I now am taking, in the course of a day, 8 different pills, some of them twice a day. You catch me about 9 a.m., and if I shake my butt, it will rattle. That's how bad it is. I got one of those big 7x4. The picture that I used on the banner of the pill box, that's the one I got.
Yeah. Good.
4 times a day, 7 days a week, I am taking pills.
Yeah,
Actually, more than that. I'm
because-
taking them more often than that, but they don't make a 6x7.
Because 2 of the pills, we were told like 6 times, if you don't take this, you will die.
Yeah, they
You
don't say,
take
you
this,
should
you
take
will
this,
die.
and you should. No, they can't. 2 different people said, you take this or you die. And that's the one that, for the stents.
That
Now,
holds the
should have
stents,
taken
yeah.
about a year. No, this is not a life alert necklace. This is where I was hoping, I was counting. I praise my spirit guides and my angels for telling me, get your ass to the hospital. And this is my little connection to them. Let's see. I told you about the electric bra on the man purse. And this thing, there is nothing comfortable about this. I can just, oh, by the way, they make the cord just long enough that you can't lie in bed and set it on the floor. It has to be in bed with you, the man purse.
Right
does.
next to you.
Yeah. So.
And he just doesn't sleep like on his bike. He rolls around.
So what you're saying basically is don't have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, do anything you can, people,
Yeah.
to not
Yeah.
have a heart attack.
Yeah.
And
Which,
that-
means taking care of yourself.
yeah, do a little better job than I did. I am not going to be an anti-smoking advocate, but I will tell you, if anybody out there wants to come to me and ask advice, I can tell you how to, if not do it completely, how to get it way, way cut down.
Honestly, it's really difficult. You know, I think I do a really good job of it myself because, like, I haven't smoked in 8 years, and it's very, very difficult to not be like a born again, you know, a reformed smoker with people who still smoke.
Oh yeah, the biggest assholes I've ever met in my life are ex-smokers.
Yeah, no, seriously, I always felt that way, but like after you do it and you feel so much better, you're like, God damn, I should have listened to all those assholes,
Mhm.
you know, before,
Right,
and,
just
and not to be one myself.
Yeah.
don't turn into one of those assholes that drive smart cars.
Oh yeah.
That's the next step. But now I am going to be a big advocate. And anybody that will listen to me, of course, I can't look at you and tell that you have high blood pressure. But everybody, now next thing on my docket, they're already hinting at it: colonoscopy. I have been asked a dozen times, "When's your last colonoscopy?" No, so I need to get that done, but that's going to have to wait. But I will tell you, if you have high blood pressure, get it under control. And because those 2 pills are much more pleasant than what I'm having to do. Now, everybody, I'm fine. My blood pressure tonight was 128 over 80.
Nice.
So I respond well to the medicine. And so, you know. But now smoking, now, you know, I am not going to say I've quit smoking. I don't want people pointing at me when they see me smoking sometime. After this is all a little more comfortable, yes, I will be at a bar standing outside smoking a cigarette. You can bet on it. But now I'm just going to go ahead and drop the secret here. Nicotine patches are fucking amazing. What they do, okay, you got the 3 step. Now, the believe it or not, the step 1, too strong for me.
Really?
I didn't like it. Step 2 is working really good, but I can tell you, the nicotine patches, what they do for you smokers, the nicotine fit does away with it. You will still want to smoke, and that's the habit part of it. You'll want to smoke like me. I want my weakness going into this was first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
When I got out of bed, I wanted a cigarette with my coffee. Everything else I did pretty good, but now that was my holdup.
After a big meal was always the hardest. I always wanted a cigarette after I eat.
Now I always did when I tried to, as I'm not going to use the term, when I did not use patches or anything, the terminology I've been using. Now I will say, I think the last cigarette I smoked might have been on the 13th. I think Adrian called me about something. When the phone rings and it says Adrian, I automatically reach for a cigarette.
Yep.
Because something is coming my way that's just but yeah, so if you're thinking about smoking, I'm just going to say, or thinking about quitting smoking, give it a try. But do the patch. Don't try to raw dog it, as I like to say. And by the way, nicotine lozenges, oh my God, they're awful. You put them in your mouth, and for like 60 seconds tops, oh, they taste pretty good. Mint, cherry. And then that goes away.
And they're gross.
And they are gross. So yeah, forget about I keep a bottle with me in case if I really go overboard and need one. But I have not had to take those. But nicotine patches are the bomb. Let's go ahead. We're going to do Bonehead Weekly real quick, and then we'll come back, close out the show. See if Brandon actually wants to say anything about Scarefest while we're here. Be right back.
Hey, Scarefist fans, this is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly with another review. And this one you can get on Peacock in rated and unrated versions. It just dropped this week. We're talking about 2022-2023's Megan. Megan. We have made movies about killer dolls, killer puppets, killer toys, before Chucky, before all these things. So my first knee-jerk reaction to this movie was to say, oh, God, again. And I didn't go see it. I couldn't make myself go see it. And it is from someone whom I like, James Wan. James Wan gave us Malignant. James Wan gave us Saw. He produced this movie, and he has story credit. It's directed by a guy that actually directed a New Zealand film that I loved very much called Housebound, if you get a chance to watch it. Gerard Johnstone. But this is, I guess, his first American film. And it's not terrible. It's not that I hated it. I just wanted more. There's about 30 minutes of exposition trying to get to why the little girl's where she's at. We introduce the character of the aunt, and not to give too much away, but the little girl is basically an orphan. Her mom and dad get killed in a car accident with her in it. And her aunt, who happens to be a toy maker and an engineer and someone who's working on a new toy, gets custody of her, played by Allison Williams. Allison Williams is a fine actress, not a big problem at all. And Megan is voiced by Jenna Davis and played by Amy Donald. So two different people. It's a cool concept, kind of. It's just so contrived and tired. And the movie, all right, here's my problem, is I wanted the movie to take me some places that it didn't. And a lot of places it took me, the Child's Play reboot kind of already visited a couple of years ago, where Mark Hamill did the voice of Chucky. In fact, I kind of like that movie a lot more because it was a lot bloodier, a lot darker, a lot more vicious. This movie's none of those things. In fact, I watched the unrated version. Peacock has both versions, the R-rated and the unrated version. I watched the unrated version thinking, ooh, and I have no idea what they cut out. I'd have to go, and I'm not going to go back and watch this. I don't know what they cut out because it's not that gruesome. It's not that bad. It's not that vicious. Megan is kind of cool in some scenes. I like some of the attitude towards the end. I like that they tried to do some character development. I'm looking for positive things to say about this movie. It's not awful. It really isn't. I've just seen it so many times. And there's nothing to bring to it. Now, here's what I thought. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, where she exits the elevator. So when they're trying to add people to the audience because they're about to do the big debut of Megan, and she gets in trouble on the elevator on the way down. When she exits the elevator, if you've seen the movie, if you're not, I'm not giving too much away. They've got all that audience there, and it's like, we need to get some kids. And I thought, all right, this is going to go off the hook or chain or whatever you kids say this day in the third act, like Malignant did. Malignant's like, and then all of a sudden that, if you know the police scene and the jail and the police, the precinct, it was well worth every minute waiting to get to this. And I thought, when she gets off the elevator, they're going to be kids. None of that happens. None of it happens. I built it up. I wrote a better screenplay in my head. And they may have not had the budget. They may not want to do it. I don't know. But I had it bigger in my head. It's kind of sad, actually. So should you see it? Probably most of you did. The movie made almost $100 million. It's very successful. I didn't dislike it. It's well made, and it's not bad acting. And I give them credit for trying to actually have a backstory for our characters and some pathos. I forget which one I'm going through. Some pathos for these characters. However, I don't know. It's hard for me to recommend. I'm 50-50 on this one. It's just an old story that I didn't need to see again, especially since I thought the Child's Play reboot already kind of did what they were working on, but they did it slightly better a couple of years ago. I know, I'm the one. This has been Joe Lewis at Bonehead Weekly. Megan, 50-50. If you got Peacock, check it out.
Now, okay, back to our guest announcements. I did want to point out that, New Amsterdam. This is the tie I was talking about earlier, people, that ties everything together. New Amsterdam had an episode where their computers got hacked. And one of the things the hackers did was go in and trigger people's portable defibrillators. So I'm so excited that now someone can actually shock me.
think Chad asked if he could hack into that and do that in the chat.
For the record, you could. I don't know how the cellular part works. It's got its own modem that's down in my bedroom, but they made it sound like they'd know if it shocked me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure
because that's why we have to program the phone number into 3 phones, because I have to know when they call me if there's something wrong.
It'll let like all sorts of crazy stuff now, I think.
Yep.
So
that's why you have to take the battery out of it when you shower, because if it's laying on the bed and it's not getting any readings, they think that you have no heartbeat.
They think you've died.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
So you have to take the battery out,
but
so they know that you're in the shower.
If they didn't want the vest back, you'd just be a lost sheet of paper at that point. What? Knew nothing about it.
Yep.
But yeah, so everybody. Oh, and by the way, a couple people in the chat room, they've heard about Chantix. Now I've heard it work for some people, but I heard a lot of people say, weird ass dreams.
Yeah.
And I don't like to take anything where one of the side effects is suicide. Just saying.
Yeah.
Explosive diarrhea was bad enough on the first ever blood pressure medicine I ever took. But now I don't like if one of the side effects is death, then no. I'm out.
Yep.
But pretty much that's the ordeal, people, that I went through last weekend. It was, but everything came out okay. I'm on the mend. The heart is resting. The stress apnea, sleep apnea went away instantly.
Good.
So that tells me it was not physical there. I can sleep. About the only thing I'm still having trouble with. Oh, I asked the nurse practitioner about my mucus, and she said, and she explained the whole process of your body wanting to kick that shit out now.
Well, I always heard quit smoking, like basically is it cilia? Is that what it's called? Like little tiny like tendrils in your throat. They get all matted or mucus.
Well, the tendrils, like the throat
hairs.
of Cthulhu.
They're like little hairs.
They're little tiny.
Yes.
Little greasy hairs.
Small little hairs and epithelials and all that stuff.
They get all matted down, and as that breaks up, that's what makes you cough, because they're trying to actually stand up.
And by the way, I got my first COVID test.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Stuck that little swab up in my nose, and I do know that I could not take the home test. Because I could not poke it that far. They poke it just far enough that you go, woo, stop. When
technically the new variations, you've got to shove it down your throat.
It
starts in the throat, but it just kept reminding me of like that part in Idiocracy where he's like, this tube goes in your mouth, this tube goes in your butt. He's like, no, wait, I've got that backwards.
Oh.
Yeah, after he did, I remember that. While I got to pack this thing around, my social life and convention life is highly curtailed. In other words, I just can't. I just fucking can't.
Well, if I can't go, I can't go anywhere.
So you will probably not see me everyone at Lexington Comic Con. And this time it's not the walking, it's not the standing, it's not anything else, but packing around this man purse with me is just, I think, more than I could handle for a day. So as soon as I get rid of that, though, I'm going to be back in the game and begging Brandon to send me places. But I just wanted to share with everybody so that you know. And I'm sure I was the hit of the hospital, especially when I had to poop.
Very nice.
And everybody, by the way, here's a reminder. Change your clocks tomorrow night. Spring forward.
Oh yeah, and for our volunteers, we have our first staff meeting at 3:00 on. It is Zoom, and the link will be going out in email and on the staff page before the meeting. It is at 3:00. Technically 2:00 with the time change, but
I almost want to travel. I just got thinking this would be so much fun to get through TSA.
Man, I'm sure they've seen a few.
Maybe.
But put a little bit of in there and watch them try to open it up and shock the shit out of Wes.
You gotta find a way to like personalize it, like some camo shit or something.
Then they wouldn't even.
When they pat me down.
Yeah. He's got like 3 pads on the back where the ooze comes out and shocks him.
Well, no, this is the one that shocks you. One of them's a ground in the back at least. I don't know what the other one does.
The packs are the ooze.
Oh my God, I'm totally wanting to get one of these and try it out.
Oh my God. I do have.
And if you don't have the ooze with it, like if you run out of ooze, it'll burn a little bit.
Yeah, it'll burn
a little bit.
Nothing that.
I mean, you gotta have lubrication. Yeah. I mean, that's rule number 1.
Neosporin. She reckons if it burns you, Neosporin.
Christy somewhere has a video of Brandon tasing himself.
That doesn't count. That was like one of those what was it? Like those little things that, like just shoot like it takes AA batteries. Like you're not going to kill yourself on something that takes AA batteries.
Well,
actually, I think it took AAA's. So yeah, even less likely.
Well, like I said, they say this will not kill you unless it does it while you're driving. See, I'm restricted. I can drive, but they'd rather I didn't. But I basically can't do anything alone for a while because this thing can knock me the hell out. I told Nita though, I do want to find it does have a manual setting on it somewhere.
Oh my God.
And I might be a hero. I could be walking through, somebody has a heart attack, say, here, and pull up a defibrillator vest and
but it's
throw it on them.
Programmed for you.
Well,
your little name's on it. They know about you in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. But, so everybody get ready for me to be a bigger asshole than ever, because now on top of everything else, I'll be telling you, get your blood pressure checked. Don't care if you quit smoking. I could give a rat's ass if you quit smoking.
We're going to be giving out blood pressure cuff checks at Scarefest over at Scarefest Radio booth.
I could do that. That actually would be a good gimmick.
Good God. They would load me off like as soon as I sat down. Like they wouldn't have to strap me in.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no way.
But yeah, and if you're one of the people like me that kind of got out of the habit of going to the doctor during COVID, go back. That's my regret in all of this.
Pull your big girl panties up and get to the doctor.
I enjoy smoking. I'm not going to say I don't, and I'm not. I stopped smoking. I do not say I quit, because I'm not a quitter.
Right.
But and thanks everybody for the well wishes. Jake Godbold, thank you for sending me a get well card. That's the only goddamn one I got.
It was a very funny one.
But I probably will stay out of the psychic game for a while because I got to save my energy. But otherwise, I'm good. Nita says my color's good.
I was going to say you don't have to now. You've already had the incident.
Yep.
I don't want to have another one anytime soon. But I want to. Like I say, I'm getting my wind power back already. And that was another thing. That bugs the hell out of me. I got one more story to tell about how bad my health is. But they kept checking my lungs. No one can believe that I've smoked since I was 18, a pack a day. Because the lungs are.
They obviously haven't walked up a hill in Gatlinburg with you then.
Well, I'm not saying it's one thing they don't do. They didn't put me on the treadmill. I'm just saying they kept saying your lungs are clear for a 59-year-old smoker. Now, speaking of that, one of the tests, of course, in your blood test, And this is a question they ask all weekend. Are you diabetic? And they would ask me and say, I don't know. And they would look at me kind of cross-eyed, and I'd say, okay, according to the TV commercial for they give you the checklist, I've got like 8 out of 5 of them, for being pre-diabetic. I'm a male and I'm alive. And that's pretty much that's their test for being pre-diabetic. But every time I've ever had any type of test, it shows that the numbers aren't perfect, but they're appropriate for my age. I'm within that range. Guess what? Every test showed this weekend.
Bad.
Same damn thing. They would look at it and they go, huh. And then they go cross-reference and say, no, you're okay. Blood sugar's fine. They test 2 things. Blood sugar. Seal, you're in the chat room. You probably know. And what's the other one? Creatine? Is that right? Creatinine, whatever it is. Apparently that's always a little bit off, but it's still within the right range. So I still don't know I still do not know if I'm pre-diabetic.
When my dad was in the hospital, so I mean he lived there for about 2 months, and he was a big guy, and so every time somebody came in, every doctor, every nurse, every last one of them, I always asked him if he was diabetic, and he was a big guy and his diet was crap, but like he was not diabetic, and so Nicole found a shirt for him on Amazon that said "I'm not diabetic yet," and he just wore it like he wore it like the whole time, like not the whole time, but like at the busiest times of the day. So yeah, you need one of those.
Yeah,
that's actually a very, very good idea.
That would go along with the "Calm the Fuck Down" shirt.
Yeah.
All the "Calm the Fuck Down" shirt was that's a must.
Well, I decided what I'm going to do. I'm going to do heat transfers. That's the only way I can afford to do this. But I'm going to do Scarefest TV, regular logo. Then underneath of it, some catch line like "Calm the Fuck Down," or "I'm not diabetic yet," or whatever. But that's
yeah.
And that way I can do.
Calm the F down. I was already going to do a series of shirts for that this year. It's going to be a limited run. Scarefest, and on the back just calm.
Well, give them to me and not Nicole this time. Let me get one first.
Yeah,
I'll give one to her if she calms down.
Last Scarefest TV T-shirts we had made, Nicole took them on New Year's, and by the time they got to me, none of the ones that they didn't fit. My size was not left. So there's Scarefest TV shirts all over Kentucky. I ain't one of them. But so basically, the moral of the story is doctors say that, assuming I don't drop dead in the next month, apparently, because I have to wear the bra, I'll be around a long, long, annoying time.
Great.
Everybody got that? 6 out of 10 doctors says as long as Wes wears a bra, he's here for a while.
That's kind of that's the other takeaway from this. But yeah.
You got to make me. Sarah has a good point. Adrian needs a shirt that says "All my gray hairs are from Scarefest," because that is so true. If you look at a picture of me from 3 years ago, I had like 1 or 2 gray hairs, and now I have thousands of them since taking this job. I'm not joking.
It does wear on you. It does wear on you. Oh, by the way, if anybody asks, I'm a B2.
He just said for defibrillator.
My bra size, my man's ear size, my bro size is B2.
My size is B2.
I'm definitely like a C cup.
All right, I'm done. Turn it off now.
So everybody, if we got no more Scarefest business to talk about.
Oh, I just want to remind everybody that I went and had dinner with RA last night, and so just remind everybody that him and Robert Mukes and a lot of folks are going to be out at Vet City Comic Con this weekend. So if you're out in Bowling Green Way, make sure you hit them up. Chad and them run a great show. plus RAs out there, and hopefully we'll have some more announcements for RA and stuff coming up here really soon.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
So everybody. So we're going to call it a night. Thanks for coming. We had a great chat in the chat room. A couple of you thought, I'm going to actually try to polish this into a comedy routine that I can do. I've got all the elements here. I just need to put it in some type of coherent.
No, you've got to go get a colonoscopy next. So that's the next.
I want to do that. I want to stream that.
So
I want to take that. I want to record that and actually stream it.
Wait, like you getting it, or like the camera up your ass?
The camera up my butt. Just
I don't
like
think
Katie
that's
Couric.
Wi-Fi enabled, but maybe. I mean, I guess like,
I don't know if I'm gonna do it live, but you know,
like inside the trimmers, like the
yeah, that's what Katie Couric's looked like. Shoot that thing right there.
Another thing
So, yeah, Loka, this is devolving now. So everybody, we're calling it a night. Thank you so much for coming in tonight and listening to totally unhorror convention related stuff. But I hope I did make it entertaining for you, as I did for the nurses at Harrison Memorial Hospital. Ladies, I absolutely loved you. Doctors, you dudes too. But they treated me really, really good. And Dr. Doolittle can go fuck himself. That's
Yes, he can. And yeah.
And so yeah, see you next week.
Bye.